Have you ever noticed how everything has an expiration date? The milk in your refrigerator, it has a best use by date. Your gym membership, it comes with an expiration date. Even your driver's license has an expiration date, and you better pay attention to it. Well, as it turns out, our coping mechanisms have an expiration date as well. In fact, they seem to expire right around midlife. And I'm here today to tell you why they quit working and why it isn't your fault. I'm Myra Hall, and I work with women who feel like everything that has worked for them up to this point just doesn't anymore. I get it. I have been there. And I'm here today to help you understand what actually happens. Because once you understand what's happening, then you can navigate it. So let's talk about what makes midlife so darn hard. Just what the heck is a coping mechanism? Well, they are habits and strategies that we have used throughout our life, maybe in the 20s and 30s, or maybe even back as far as your childhood, to get through painful times, for times that you didn't understand, that you needed to keep going forward. And this is how you did it. Now, what do they look like? You could have become a peacemaker. Maybe your household or your spouse or your workplace was volatile and a lot of yelling and name calling and you became the one that held down all the peace. Or maybe perfectionism is your game. This is how you worked at getting favor from other people for feeling your worth. Is if you were perfect, then nobody would find a reason to criticize what you did. And when they would pat you on the head for doing a good job, that just made you work all the harder. Or maybe like me, you became super independent. Now, my mother told me that when I was born, my first words were me do it myself. So I was born with this independent spirit. But as I grew up and people disappointed me, and I learned that I couldn't depend on somebody's word, I just became independent and decided I would do it myself. It was my way of coping with sadness, with pain, and with disillusionment. I want you to know that none of these or many others are wrong. We all got to this place and they got us here. We've taken different paths, but they helped us along. So, why did they stop working all of a sudden? Why did the skills and the abilities that you had honed to such a fine point, they just stopped working? There's many reasons, but I want to go over three today. And the first one is there is seasons to everything. Think of it this way. If you live in my area, you have very four distinct seasons: winter, spring, summer, fall. Winters can be brutal, and I have several winter coats that I use during that time. But if I kept wearing those winter coats in our equally brutal summer with humidity up in the 90s and temperatures chasing 100, you would think I was crazy. You wouldn't wonder a bit why that wasn't working. So, number one is we have seasons and seasons change. Number two, it's what I call accumulated weight. It is hurts that we've stuffed, disappointments that we put behind us, never really dealing with the pain that came with them. Think of it this way. If you had a glass of water in your hand and you held it there for a minute. It's not very heavy. It will work. If you held it there for 5 minutes, it would start getting heavier and it'd be a strain on your muscle. If you held it there for 5 hours, you would hardly be able to hold it up there. And pretty soon it would just crack. So we accumulate weight of unprocessed feelings and regrets as we go through life. And this causes our coping mechanism. It just gets too heavy. And the third, everybody will recognize this, is our physical changes. Now, our bodies, our hormones are almost giving it as much change as they did in our adolescent stage. They leave us feeling illusioned and grumpy, and perimenopause and menopause cause hot flashes, and it seems like a never ending period with our mood swings, and we just don't know what to do with ourselves. So just to go over, if you're wondering why these coping mechanisms have expired, just remember that there are seasons in your life and seasons change, that you can't hold on to the weight forever before it cracks you. You've got to set it down. And number three is physical changes that we cannot help. It is something that we have to go through, that we have to manage, and we have to get to the other side. So, how do you know? What's the signs? What's the symptoms that these coping mechanisms have expired? Quite honestly, they're different for everyone. But I'm going to touch on a few and maybe you will recognize them. First one is exhaustion, tiredness, bone deep tiredness that no amount of sleep will solve. The second one, the past. It keeps showing up uninvited. The regrets from what you didn't do, the regrets from what you did do, maybe what choices that you made, what would happen if I made different choices. And sometimes it can haunt you. How different would your life be if I'd gone this direction? That's the number two sign that these strategies aren't working anymore. Number three, you have a hard time feeling excited about anything. Things that used to just light your fire that you could hardly wait to do, it just doesn't do it for you anymore. You may feel like you're dragging yourself through the day. And number four, you can feel invisible or wish you were in a large room of people. You just don't feel like you're seen anymore for who you really are. Now, I want you to hear me on this. This is not you failing. This is you becoming. You have outgrown those old strategies, and midlife is asking you, who do you want to become now? Those expired strategies, they are what got you here. New strategies are going to get you where you're going. This is a threshold, not an ending. A crossroads, not a dead end. If you're feeling like everything that used to work isn't working anymore, you're not broken and you're not alone. Your coping mechanisms have just expired. And that means you're ready for something new. I'll be sharing about what that something new is in future videos. So subscribe if you want to come along. And if this resonated with you, drop a comment below and tell me, what expired systems are you ready to let go of? So I'm looking forward to seeing you back here next week. Bye-bye now.